Okay. Um,
Sorry, I think I moved my cursor too fast and something was very sensitive. I didn't mean to disrupt. I'm sorry about that.
okay, that's okay. Um, anyway, so I'm since you all are in a election season up there, I'm gonna share one from quite a while back, but somehow it always seems to be valid. Watching the hands clunk, clunk, clunk. The stage lights come up, shining upon a rail thin figure in stripes and stars. His grayed goatee quivers, fingers flex into focused glare. Watch this hand, he says. Watch this hand that hunts Osama in Afghanistan, that frees a people from despotic Saddam. His silken scars hide the blasted bodies in the deserts, the mountains, the villages. His silken scars flutter around the wounded, the dead of coalition forces. They muffle Honduras, Nicaragua, Spain crying basta as they go home. And the Philippines, Thailand, Estonia, Norway, New Zealand, packing their bags soiled with oil, with sand, with guts. This man scars hiding his own blasted fingers, silken scars, scarleting with blood. Watch this hand. Aye, but what is that other hand doing, Tio Sam, there in the shadows? From here, the deepest south, we see, we hear, we live, we die, we suffer and survive. Over a decade now of your plan, Colombia, Bush is requesting a doubling of troops there. I saw them in the misty morning mountains and saw them retreat when they saw I saw. Ecuador too is asking for more of your soldiers on its northern border to stop campesinos fleeing in the darkest night, fleeing from the plan's poisons and bombs. Your negotiations for a base on Baltra, Galapagos Islands, all part of your plan, these military installations you have in Antigua Island, Ascension, the Bahamas, Aruba, Curacao, Cuba, Honduras, Puerto Rico, Ecuador, Paraguay, Peru, El Salvador. Each links a chain to contain biodiverse zones, oil and strategic metals, fresh water, each links in a chain to restrain people's movement standing up to your heavy political and economic hand. Each links to detain the governments that vow to put their pueblos first. You have called them the new axis of evil: Argentina, Venezuela, and Brazil. And I and how many millions you have poured into the elections of El Salvador to stop another terrorist regime. And now your bought government will send troops to Iraq, despite what the legislature and public say. And how many millions you poured into Panama, but you didn't win there. Felicidades, Martin Torrijos. May someday we know who murdered your father. And how many millions pouring through your fingers to the opposition in Venezuela and the referendum you forced. See, you lost there too, Tio Sam. Chávez no se fue. Yes, the scars waving in your other hand, hiding your lies, your threats, hiding the refugees, the dead, hiding, hiding. What we see, we hear. We live, we die, we suffer, we survive here in the deepest south, here in the deepest north. And your scars are freeing, Uncle Sam, under our glaring lights focused upon your corrupt hands.
Wow.
Epic onslaught.
That was great.
I mean, it's like you just read all the charges.
Sometimes when you read Lorraine, I wonder, why aren't you in charge? So I kind of know the answer.
Thank you. Thank you for that. May I ask how long ago you wrote that one? Or maybe it took you a year or three
Like
months?
2004. Well, Bush was pres, no?
Yep.
Oh, oh yeah.
2004, 2005, something like
Okay.
that.
Push
Yeah, yeah.
two.
Yeah.
Well, we called him Shrub, Baby Bush.
Yeah.
I call
But
them weeds.
we had yeah, there were so many villains in that time. Oh my gosh.
None now, though, at least.
Oh yeah, none. Yeah. Everybody pure as lilies today and yesterday and last Saturday and etc. Thank you for that one, Lorraine. Feel free to come back with another. Um, and who would like to read next? Or sing or vilify rant.
I can read one because you were talking about Mentiras, so I had to dig to see if I could find if I had anything. Although I was feeling inspired to write earlier before I knew you were doing this, so I may write one later.
Oh, and
Anyway,
that's good too.
this is one I found from 2017. It's called Forgive You. I forgive you. I forgive you for believing the lies that you aren't worthy, good enough, woman enough, not skinny enough, not pretty enough, or you're tough to love. The lie that you can't do it alone. The lie that you are hopeless, that no one will want you. You are imperfect, strong, and independent. I forgive you for not believing in you. I forgive you for not seeing your worth. I forgive you for not loving me enough. Now step back from the mirror. Embrace who you are. Forgive you.
Beauty.
Thank you.
That's a good one to read to yourself every once in a while, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen it, so still very timely.
Yeah, it's making me wonder how many lies I tell to myself. I don't even want to broach that subject right this second. But
Those
you
are,
know, the lies that get you through. I'm not saying like I'm lying to myself. I mean, just like, just think of like single moms who can't make rent and the lies they have to tell themselves about their prosperity and their future in order to be able to get sleep and rise up in the morning day after day to do the same thing
mhm.
and aspire to some sort of levity and balance. There's that kind of lying I think that happens with people, and it can wear and tear. I believe I because I think I do that kind of lying. Um, would you call that like a little brown lie for brown people to get through? You know, or that one that a lot of folks. I hear the housekeeping staff at my job say, "Si Dios quiere, if God wants it,
Mhm.
have a great day," or enjoy the evening. Si Dios quiere, well, if God wants it. Um, to me, that I don't know. I don't see. Well, I don't know why brought that up. Si Dios quiere. It's putting the agency in somebody else's hands,
Mhm.
something else's hands.
I have a slightly different take on it. And in fact, this is all just coming to me these last couple minutes, because I was thinking this is a tough theme, and I'm not sure I've written about lies I tell myself, and then maybe I've written about that a lot, but I'm lying to myself about having written it. Um, but That said, um, first Lorraine's piece made me think of this piece, and I'm not quite sure why. But then what you just said reinforced it a little bit from um, well, there's a lot of ways I could phrase this, but let me try this as an in from um, from a white male in America facing the power structure, the white power structure and privilege, which is, as far as I'm concerned, part of my job every day, which doesn't mean that I carry a sign all the time. I think you understand what I mean. This is like the tiny moments of your day in recognizing that when you're not in a position to do something big, you keep it in mind. Though I think the point I'm about to make doesn't necessarily just have to do with that, but one of the ways I approach that, it doesn't have to do with just, white privilege at all. It has to do with how we think of each other on the streets in a lot of ways. And I became alarmed a few years ago, because I'd been in a bad mood for a while or something. And I realized, how much I assumed about people walking down the streets. And I think it's very easy to do. Especially if you're not having a great day, what's wrong with that person, or why is that person like that, or your mind generates reasons, which is, and the other side of the coin is that we have to um assume things, especially when we're out in public running errands or something. We have to assume things all day long just to get through our day, such as, oh, that person's going to make a turn, that person's going to step into the street. We have to assume things all the time without necessarily knowing beforehand. But I think that helps us get used to it, and I don't think we should, because the way that you think of someone determines how you behave towards them, period. Period. And so that's really basic, but I don't remember how many years ago, but within the last 10 or 15, I started saying to myself in my head frequently when I walked around, what are you assuming? What are you assuming? And it changed the way I saw things every time I thought it. So I have this piece which is kind of weird and messed up, and if I may read it, it's called Assume This. It is a little messed up at times. Um, it's got 4 different little scenarios. Assume it's raining. Assume you're in a good mood. Assume that's because it's raining. Assume the air is clean. Assume it isn't. Assume the kitchen is a healthy place. Assume your parents were right. Assume you're right too. Assume you'll go out today. Assume you won't wear a hat. Assume your head will get completely drenched. Assume you'll walk down the street. Assume you want some coffee. Assume you meet the love of your life. Assume neither of you has the wherewithal to notice. Assume you go on with your life. Assume things are good. Assume the rain stops. The grass is very green, saturated. Assume a car drives over the curb and skids through the grass. Assume some of the grass is crushed and dying. Assume some of it will grow back. Assume you're crushed and dying. Assume none of you will grow back. Assume a man comes over and stands looking down at you. Assume that man is I. Assume I calmly, almost serenely tell you this entire story. Assume I'm lying. So that's the first part. I wrote it to mess with my own head in some ways, but to activate that, what am I looking at here, sort of thing. Here's the second one. They're not all like horrifying. Actually, they kind of get nicer, but you're called into your boss's office and assume that you're about to be fired, though you have no idea why. Maybe it's because you don't dress right. Maybe it's because you were rude to that customer, though in all fairness, they were rude first. Maybe you just don't look right. You step in. Your boss is shuffling papers and says, without looking up, take a seat. You do. I'll be just a minute, he says. You look around. Everything seems spotless and orderly. Those books, those framed pictures, that perfect plant. Even the paper shuffling, foot shuffling sounds orderly. Rap, rap, rap. He cracks the stacks of papers into alignment, sets it down with a snap, folds his hands on the desk and looks across at you. Smiles a big, ferocious smile. Here it comes. You've been here how long? He asks, grinning and trying to read the shadows behind you. 2 months, you say. 2 months, he almost chortles. Has it been that long? Seems like you've only been here a few days. So that's his tack, you posit. His grin gets bigger, toothy, lion-like. How would you like a raise? He asks. A raise? You echo dumbly. Yes, he says, drawing in closer, eyes gleaming. Because you're just so fucking cute. I think that's the scariest one. That's not a story I've had happen to me, but I think it's a story others have had happen. You're at a party. You're not liking the music. The food is kind of strange. You're pretty sure the host has bad politics. You're pretty sure they're racist. You don't know them, but your friend does. Your friend says they're terrific once you get to know them. They have a large iguana in a small tank with a couple of sticks and leaves. It looks depressed. You wonder if iguanas can experience depression. They have nervous systems, don't they? Lymph nodes and hormones? You're not quite sure. Your friend starts talking about snakes. They seem to know a thing or two about them. They say, there's no way that snakes perceive the world anything like we do. You say, no way? They have brains, they have eyes, light comes in, they sense danger. It's all instinctual, your friend says. You have to wonder. You once saw a snake eating another snake. That was also in a glass tank. The less fortunate of the two, slimmer, maybe a foot long, was being consumed tail first. About a third of it was inside the larger snake, being crushed and digested, and the rest, right up to its head, stuck out from the mouth, absolutely straight and rigid as a pencil, its own mouth opened wide. You'd never imagine seeing a snake straight and rigid as a pencil. You turn to your friend and say, we're all instinctual. Then open the top of the iguana's tank, lift it out gingerly, and walk out the front door. By the way, I did see a snake eating a smaller snake once in a terrarium. That's true. That's a true story. Last one. May I? Is this okay? Everybody okay? You see a person standing on a corner staring at their phone. Are they going to cross the street? Someone is walking toward you up the block. You sense that they're in a bad mood. Is that true? An old woman stands on a lawn looking up at the sky. What is she looking at? Is she looking at anything? Is she okay? Does she need help? You see a mom smack her child, who starts to bawl. You see a man asleep on a bench. You see a small dog walking down the street alone. You see a bicycle lying in the street. Who left it there? You see a wrench on the sidewalk, the words, "You are here," scrawled in the cement. A stray seashell, a single shoe. You go into a pharmacy to buy some chocolate, and the cashier is crying, clearly, quietly. You smile at them. You see that same woman on the corner, no longer with the phone, staring ahead and crying. The woman on the lawn is also crying. A truck rumbles by, startling you. You look around, take a slow breath. What are you assuming? That just, I don't know why I felt like I could read that. It's a little different than a lot of stuff I write, I think. But it's in the Pissed Off book, Unit of Agency.
That was very satisfying. It made me feel like that I'm ready for a workshop that centers those pieces.
Oh, well, your theme got me thinking about those things. You know, I hate it in many ways that I assume things about people. You know, that's how my mind is. I don't know if I think some of it's natural, right? I mean, we're animals trying to figure out how to survive on the planet, among other things. But, you know, it's like you don't want somebody to run up to you and hurt you or whatever, so, but at the same time, you also, have compassion and you don't understand what's going on around you. Yeah, exactly. Rita, unconscious bias and weird little bits of learning and then weird experiences. Like if you're assaulted in a neighborhood, um, then you might be weird in that neighborhood for a while or around the kind of people that assaulted you. But I know that because it's happened to me, but I also know it actually doesn't last forever, you know?
I'm trying here late in this part of my life, in the whatever I call it, one of the final seasons of my life, to wait for patterns to emerge rather than making judgments based on one instance of something happening. Let's say
Mhm.
I buy a can of juice, a certain brand I like, and it's really off that day. I'm not going to assume that every can of that type of juice is always going to be bad
Mhm.
from, into the future. So I try to look for patterns before I move emotionally and, cognitively on, like, uh, assuming, it's always going to be this way. Because I missed out. I was about 3 or 4 years old, and my babysitter offered me like a bright purple Kool-Aid to go with my hard-boiled egg. And that didn't agree with me, and I puked that up on her hardwood floors, and it looked really awful. The combo of foods and also the experience of puking at that age was alarming and upsetting. And I didn't eat hard-boiled eggs until I was in college because I was afraid that that would happen to me again, and certainly not hard-boiled eggs with Kool-Aid. And so that, I didn't even rely on a pattern. It just needed to happen once. And I made that assumption, that judgment that it would forever be that way in my little girl mind. Um, and I missed out, and I didn't test, that theory or theorem that, forever and ever that will be my bodily experience when I ingest those two things. And it was in college when I took a class on is it learning and behavior, something like that, in the Department of Psychology. And that's when I learned that um, the fastest um, the fastest form of learning is taste aversion. You just need to eat something, have a bad experience with a food one time, and then you will avoid it. You don't
No,
need to
I
rehearse
have
it.
the same experience.
You don't need to rehearse it. You don't have to practice it. You don't need a do-over. It's like you have forever learned that food is pukey, gummy, gross. Ugh. And so it's the fastest,
But you got over it though.
because I tested it after Dr. Bernadette Marriott taught us that. I'm like, well, let me test this taste aversion and
Oh.
see what happens. And then I broke through
For
to the
me,
other
it was
side.
bananas, and it was almost the same story. In grade school, and after having a bad something with a banana, got sick in the hallway. The nuns, it was a little Catholic school with the nuns in the full habits. They made the third graders clean it up, and then they made
Oh,
me stand in front of their class and thank them. And I still can't eat bananas. Isn't that amazing? I mean, it's completely the smell or the taste. I can't be around the smell or anything. Yeah. I have one molecule of potassium in my body. Yes.
probably. Well, my mom went to a church pantry today and picked up one of the things she hauled away in her car was a case of organic bananas.
Hmm.
I mean, huge bunches, about 12 bunches this big. So I spent time this afternoon giving them to neighbors and,
Good. I
various
wouldn't let you
people.
give me any.
I
Yeah.
was gonna ship you some, but I guess I
I'm
won't.
going to stop talking.
Uh,
I'm taking up too much time. Although I do want to say I have something really beautiful I'd like to read before we finish tonight. That is not from me. Um,
So
Later.
yes, sure, Richard, of course. And I don't think any of us talk too much except maybe me, but I have to do the host things also. So that means I tend to exceed my usual limit. But mentiras can consist of these solid decisions we make, which we could call biases, judgments, assumptions, and they fail us. Those assumptions fail us because they're based on fear and avoidance of pain. And if we all do that all the time, then it's like we're not getting to engage with foods, with people, others, different neighborhoods, a bicycle, a skateboard, or a unicycle, whatever you crashed on when you were 13. We avoid those pleasurable possibilities. And to what end? If we live, kind of like, we live the rest of our life with our feet cut off at the knees. Do we want to live crippled that way with our thinking or not? Anyway, this is interesting. I'll stop talking.
I have tried bananas, by the way.
Patricia, would you like to read, or do we want to take a break? Do folks want to get a drink of water or go use the bathroom and then come back? What is the consensus here? Keep going? Thumbs up for keep going. Rita's good.
I'm cool
Jeffrey's-
with taking a little bit of a break just for a second so I can get some water.
Okay, let's come back in 5 minutes.
Okay.
Thanks for speaking up, Patricia. Okay.
You didn't say bio break today. And I found myself using that. I told everyone like a week ago that my podcast needed a brief bio break, which that I needed to start taking less time doing them. I'm going to go get my vitamins after my dinner.
You still
Okay, we're back from our break. Thank you for hanging around, sticking with us. Who would like to read next?
I can read another one if you would like.
Oh yeah, go for it, Rita.
This one's not really on topic. Is that okay? Does it have to be on topic?
No, it does not. I'm going to speak because Tammy's.
Okay. This one's called Mama Earth. Mama Earth inspires me so. The twinkling reflections of the water on the trees, light dancing everywhere, highlighting your beauty and the peace you bring. The ballet of your leaves as a lullaby dream. The percussion and strings as a cicada sings transports me to a timeless world. Oh, your sweet embrace nurtures my restless mind, soothes my achy body, and holds my heart stopped in another time. A time where my future unfolds the harmony I seek. Gratitude to you, Mama Earth, for your sweet embrace only a mother could hold. Mama Earth, you healed my wounds from deep within. Only you could touch the dark and make it light again. For you are me and I am you, part of you, nature walking above you and around you. You become the mother I long for.
Did you write that after one of your hikes, Rita?
Unfortunately, I'm unable to hike because of my foot, but I did go on a forest bathing at the botanical gardens and the Japanese garden, and that was an experience I wrote while I was there.
What was it you did at the Japanese garden?
I was doing a forest bathing.
Oh, forest bathing. Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, we have this amazing Japanese garden here in Fort Worth. It's really beautiful. And And there's little gazebos and tea ceremonies happen at the big festival there every year, and they bring in the taiko drummers, and it's a lot of fun. It's a peaceful place. What happened to your foot? May I ask?
For years I've been struggling with plantar fasciitis.
Oh,
And in this past year, it's just gotten really bad. And now I have a bone spur on my Achilles.
oh,
I have a lot of pain in my Achilles tendon resulting from pushing myself despite the pain. Like I was supposed to like stop, but I would keep doing the long distances because I was wanting to stay active and I was wanting to, just be healthy. And so as the result of that, now I have a bone spur that developed right at the back of my ankle where my Achilles is, and I'm in constant pain with my foot. My left foot wants to do the same, but I am stretching it I'm taking PT. And so the stretches I've learned from PT, I'm using it on my left foot to be more preventative. And so I can no longer walk for very long periods of time or stand very long periods of time. Like even a half-mile walk, it can be very painful.
Gosh, is there
what?
anything further they can do? I mean,
Well,
not
there's been
certain.
some progress, but it's just I need to continue the PT to help alleviate the pain. And if that doesn't work, then we'll move on to something else.
Have you tried acupuncture?
I want to try that because I was reading, I actually found one in Dallas that I follow actually. And I asked her about that, and she said that it is helpful for heel pain and foot pain. But I bought some of the tools that they use in PT to kind of use at home. So I'm not just only doing it during PT. So I have a strap that I use to stretch my foot and my leg because it's all connected now because of the heel pain. And now I have knee pain. And they notice that I have a lot of tension in my calf muscle. It's like super tight. And so there's a lot of like compensating in other parts of my body.
Mm-hmm.
And then my left side, which is the better side, also compensates. So I think that's why I'm starting to feel the pain on my left now. Slow. It's not as bad, but I do feel it. And I do miss walking. And the hiking. So there's a grief in all of that.
Yeah, I can imagine. Hey, if you ever want to go to the Forest Park swimming pool, the one by the zoo,
Mm-hmm.
it's really nice. They just renovated it, and there's places to set your blanket in the shade, and then you can go and wade in the water and stretch in the water, cold water therapy. We could do that if you want.
Oh, I'd love that.
Maybe your son can go with my nephew. They can hang out.
Oh, he would love to go in the water. He was asking me to do that. We'll
Please,
plan something.
yes, please. Yeah. Message me later tonight or later this weekend.
That sounds good. Thank you.
Of course, of course. Thanks for reading that piece and answering our questions because I know, caring energy, you deserve caring energy sent your way.
I appreciate it. I really do. Thank you.
You're welcome. I don't really have a poem next, but I do want to tell about a lie that that I'm cognizant of. And that's the fact that I have my favorite gatita has been missing for over 3 months, and her name is Baby Sweets. You may have heard me talk about her. And I've been looking in my neighborhood, spending many, many minutes of my time since April, bicycling around, walking, calling her name, sharing flyers with neighbors, asking people to be on the lookout, seeing doppelgangers of her, people on the Facebook group in our neighborhood saying, I think I saw your cat at this street at this time. Please go look. She might still be there. I think it's your cat. Then I wheel over, get very emotional, and it's upsetting because it's not her, and it's just really hard. But there is a cat. I don't know if you can see her. See this? This one. This cat lives 2 blocks away, and the person who lives at the home has invited me in to go inside her house and go through to the backyard where she's got kind of a cat farm of cats she feeds. And she said that I'd be welcome to go and look around her yard and stuff like that whenever I want. She didn't seem threatened by me at all, which is good, because I sometimes look a little nervous and sad. Not my usual demeanor when I greet people I don't know. But that cat has been hanging around that yard, and there's like 2 or 3 others, and it looks just like my cat. And I went to see it last night. It was there, and I talked to it. It pays attention to me, but it doesn't come close. If I try to approach it, it runs into a little grassy alleyway. I don't blame it if it runs, because it doesn't, it's probably, everything's unfamiliar for her. So I come home thinking that's her and that she's okay. She's hoteling somewhere else, enjoying a free ranging life for a minute, and eventually she'll come back, or I'll go in with a pet carrier and I'll catch her. So that's the lie I tell myself, that is her, and that and then it helps me come home and be able to eat and get good sleep and relax. And that's what hope can look like. The end. Who would like to speak next or share something, written or not written?
I'll share. I haven't written anything really in a while, partially because I just got over COVID and I gave myself permission not to do anything. But just today, actually, I completed a shadow transformation protocol that I was doing. And part of the shadow transformation is to identify the lies you tell yourself that allow you to keep the shadow hidden. And I won't try to go into a whole huge explanation of the whole process. Although it did, at different stages, there was all amazing real self-realization things happening. And we did 4 rituals, elemental rituals. Started with a fire ritual where we dealt with the function of the shadow and the poisons that the shadow injected into our lives, and we gave them over to the fire. And then it was pain and confusion, the pain that we felt and the confusion that we had. And we did a water ritual, telling stories to stones and giving them over to the water. And the lies part, we gave over to an earth ritual. And that's the part. You think of times in your life when you really felt out of control, where things happened to you that you had no control over, and allow yourself to get into your body and get in touch with what you were feeling at those times in your body, and trace it out to the sort of, one way of looking at it is the names you call yourself in that situation. And after going through that process, you look at all those names you called yourself, and you come up with what the opposite of those would be. And so in our final air ritual, which I just did yesterday, I went and gave to the air, after telling the whole story. I gave to the air my declaration that I am grounded, I am centered, I am powerful, I am unfettered, I am curious, I'm compassionate, and I'm courageous in the face of risk and uncertainty. So I'm now repeating that every day as part of my morning ritual. But it's one way of dealing with the lies that you tell yourself. So anyway, end of thought.
Thank you.
That's wonderful, Jeffrey. We'll need rituals like that for the next however many years.
Yeah, I posted the places where I did those rituals. You may have seen them on my Facebook account. Some of them. One of them is the live oak tree down by the pool that appeared to me in a dream, and that I've gone and visited in the middle of the night and different times of the year and different times. And I mean, it appeared in a dream and asked for me to come and visit it. And so I visited on a regular basis. For a long time, when the pool was under construction, they had fence around it, so that I had to sneak through the fence and stuff in order to do it. So I did my earth ritual underneath the tree there. Rootedness. So who wants
I'm
to go
so
next?
pleased. I'm so pleased to hear about these things you do. It's yeah, it's fortifying and inspiring. And I think I feel like I'm gonna have a personal take on that, that's gonna jettison me to something I might try. So thanks for sharing about that. It is inspiring.
Well, it's important to take care of ourselves in preparation for what's coming. the old thing of when the oxygen falls, put it on yourself first before you help the people next to you.
I love hearing about these rituals too.
I really appreciated your vision quest in your
Oh.
12-month fast podcast, which if you haven't been listening, please go to, well, you can find the connection to it in his website that he gave you the connection to already.
I could put it up here. I'm glad. Thanks. You're still listening.
Oh, yeah.
That was it.
I enjoy it.
All those weird little stories are true. And I really did find a freshly shed rattlesnake skin when I was, not looking for something to make a third ring around an altar.
Mm-hmm.
Totally, totally true. But let me see if I can find this. Gosh darn it. There it is. Okay. I actually don't remember if you folks know about this or not, but I know that Tammy and I think Lorraine does. I decided that television was absorbing too much of my time, and it never used to at all every evening. And I got it took me a while to get pissed off about it. And so I decided to go on a 12-month video fast. And I took all the video equipment and got it out of the front room and made a little writing desk area. And but then I started a podcast to chronicle what effects that has on my life. And I ended up telling a lot of stories, one of which was about getting lost on Mount Diablo. Mount Diablo comes into my my other stuff today as well.
That's in California, in the Bay Area?
Yeah, Mount Diablo is it's actually a very interesting. I'm just going to type it in. So I'm in the Bay Area, and then just east of me, where I live in Oakland, which is sort of flat, then there's these hills, which are called the Berkeley or Oakland Hills, depending on where you are. And on the other side of those hills, which are pretty, a couple thousand feet or so. I mean, I know the tallest one to climb up, and it's a really good hike. But on the other side is the Central Valley that goes all the way to the Sierras. And it's mostly flat, a little bit of rolling. There's a little tiny grade here and there, but about 40 miles from here, maybe about 50, not quite that far, maybe about 10 or 20 miles east of the Berkeley Hills is Mount Diablo, and it's the tallest mountain in the Central Valley, and it's the tallest peak for an enormous number of miles around. And all of the surveying for Northern California was started from Mount Diablo, like many years ago when they started trying to survey all the land. And you can see, for instance, on a clear day, these islands that are 20 miles west of the Golden Gate Bridge from Mount Diablo, which is about 60 miles or so. And you can see the Sierras on a clear day as well. So, and that came into the podcast. But I don't want to interrupt it, Patricia, if you have something that you were going to read. Or I can forge ahead with this thing. Yeah.
Forge ahead. Forge ahead.
You sure?
Yeah, totally.
Sometimes I feel like I talk too much, but
Not at all.
So anyway, well, I put the link to the podcast in case anyone wants to check it out. It's called My 12-Month Video Fast. So this is an odd connection, or maybe not. I don't think of it as odd. I think of it as incredibly normal and natural. But I had some happenstance about Native American culture a couple weeks ago, where in another podcast, doesn't matter so much, but I was writing about a road trip that I had in the year 2000, and I had spent 5 days on a Rosebud Reservation in South Dakota, it's Lakota, and I'd been invited with a small group of um, people to a 5 day, a little Wumpy healing ceremony. Anyway, in the sweat lodge ceremony, and pretty unusual. But this particular chief was welcomed out. I don't think outsiders is the right word, but non-native folks to receive ceremonies and things like that occasionally. He also ran the Sundance there for a long time. Anyway, and I could not remember his name. And I tried, I don't know why I was Googling, and I was Googling the wrong things. And I was frustrated, and I'd left messages with two friends who might know his name, and I didn't hear back from them. And then I remembered, of course, I had a notebook that I was writing in, journaling in then, but where would that be? It was 24 years ago, right? But if you could see the desk in front of me, which would be frightening for you to see, there are so many stuffed shelves with things that I have lugged around the country. And at that time, I lived in Brooklyn, but down here, for instance, there's a shelf that's an old orange crate that has about 20 or 30 old wire-bound notebooks that are actually tangled together, the wire parts are. And I was like, I don't know. And I reached down and I yanked one out, and it was the notebook. It was that notebook, and it had a list of everybody's names who was at the Lumpy, and the people I knew and people I had met and everything. And I was like, that's crazy, that I found that I don't know how my mind would know, and then my hand would just touch it, but I do know how. And I think we all do. So, so that was good fortune. And the next day I get an email from this poet I know slightly, and locally. Now I've been trying to find work, and I've been helping people with their manuscripts and things like that. And, I'm going to start a workshop and blah, blah, blah. This guy says very shyly in his email, I have a manuscript and I really would like to get it out. Now he's in his 70s, and he's a Native American writer of Miwok, from Northern California. And I know him in the poetry scene, and I know there is a Native American milieu out here for writers as well that is mixed in with mixed in. I don't know what the word is, but I know them, and I like the work, and I like to see it, and of course I'm driven toward the culture. And he's like so shy, and I didn't barely ever heard his stuff because he always did songs with his guitar in life. And he's like, I really want to publish this. Can you help? Can you take a look at it for me? And he did not know that I actually did this as a service. Like I don't know. He saw me do a reading and hadn't seen me in a while, and decided he would just ask me. So I was like, that is odd. Anyway, that's what I was doing earlier today. And Tammy asked me when we first got on, what were you doing today? Well, I was reading Dave Holt's. His name is Dave Holt, Holt. And it's beautiful. I mean, it doesn't, I'm like, he's expecting a big editing job. And I like every so often I'm like, maybe take this comma out, or you know what I mean? And I have very little to say about it because I think it's gorgeous. And I thought I would read one of his poems because this is my favorite one. And if I may, and it's called On the Shores of the San Pablo Sea. And there's a place called San Pablo Bay, which is on the north side of the San Francisco Bay, if anybody knows the geography out here. San Francisco Bay is between San Francisco, Oakland, San Jose. And if you go north, the body of water continues, but technically it's a separate bay just because of how it's formed. That's the San Pablo Bay. Actually, it's because of how it was formed geologically, millions of years ago. This is called On the Shores of San Pablo Sea. I made it to a grove of trees in time. Rain cloud overhead, warning ghosts, plates of gray swept the surface of the bay. In wilderness, huddled under pines, I searched for direction in a mist. Having lost a job, been handed days to hike mountains, canyons hidden from the world and its commerce. I study the humped corpse of Round Top, which is a hill, I guess, looking for the once gurgitant flame red crater, Berkeley Hills volcano, fires burnt out, keeled over on its side, diminished in death or sleep. The basaltic cone points a crooked finger eastward. No one I know can show me the lava vent. I catch sight of spotted wing bars and white belly, rufous-sided towhee forages in thickets, a clue for me here among rocks, scrub, and thorn, a decorated bird. In this quiet hour, away from traffic, I want wondrous things to see. Time runs short. Opportunities dwindle, as if nature must deliver on the same strict schedule observed by industry. I think she does not provide that way, but yields up her magic unbidden in good time to a patient watcher, maybe a sign for one still baffled about what to try. By San Pablo Bay, inland sea of the Cretaceous, ancient shoreline of Laramedia, a bird-like creature among cycads and sequoia runs, leaps, grasps at giant dragonflies that hover by a shallow lagoon, brilliant feathers, more extravagant than the relatives, iridescent in last rays of sunset across water, fluttering on clumsy, undeveloped wings, finds itself magically suspended for a moment, mid-air, long enough to pull a meal from the wind, learn a new movement, evolve a better way to fly. I just so magic to me, and the whole book is like that. I'm like, I feel so thankful. I don't know if I will find him. I gotta find him a publisher or at least try to give him some good energy to do so, but that's all. I'm honored to be reading a beautiful book that no one else has read yet. Yeah. So that's my lieless, my no lies piece for the evening. It's my no bullshit piece. Yeah. I'll put his name down, but I don't think you find much of it. You might see some. That's by Dave Holt in Northern California. He's in some anthologies and magazines and stuff. There's a good press out here. The name is escaping me, that puts out anthologies of white California Native American writers. Anyway.
There's a Facebook group that you might have a look at, because there's a lot of well, it's for Yellow Medicine Review, which is a journal out of Minnesota, affiliated, or I guess maybe the fiscal sponsor is what you call it, is a university in Minnesota. But if it's a very active Facebook group, Yellow Medicine Review, and people share opportunities, like publishing opportunities, and a lot of folks, Medicine Review, and a lot of folks announce their new publication, so you might get an inkling of some good presses.
Great.
That way.
I'll absolutely look at that. I mean, I'm going to
great group. Yeah.
I'm going to suggest, that journal that's periodic up there that we've talked about, and I know the name except for this moment. What's it called? Something about Earth. What's it called?
Black Earth Institute.
Yeah. What's the journal though?
A About Place journal.
About Place. Yeah. I usually remember it, but
just want to give a shout out to Michael McDermott, the executive director of Black Earth Institute. He's he's a physician himself, or semi-retired, I guess he might say. He was in ICU for, oh gosh, close to a week. I think he's going through rehab right now. He got a really bad infection or affliction because of and it wasn't Lyme disease. It was another tick-borne illness. And it was pretty serious because he was in ICU for a long time. I mean, more than a couple of days. Anyway, shout out. He's a really great person, and I care a lot about him. He's been very supportive when my brother was very ill early last year. Michael was accepting every call I made to him asking for his advice. And we're told not to ask our friends who are physicians for advice. He was breaking that rule for me, or he was accommodating, and I'll never ever forget that. So I sent him good vibes. So yes, the Yellow Medicine Review is also the name of the journal, but it's also the name of the Facebook group.
I found the journal, so I'll find the Facebook group easily.
Richard, if he is bilingual with his indigenous language, there's a journal in Canada called Polyglot.
Oh, okay. I'm not
POW.
100% sure if he is. Only because he doesn't lapse. That's the wrong word, but he doesn't go back and forth with it in the poem so far. He does mention, important entities and, spiritual leaders and different things like that. So, but polyglot.
Yeah, I put the link in the comments.
Oh, thanks.
And I believe that they pay.
Well,
There's a paying market.
that's awesome.
So yeah.
I would love to know more about that. I have no idea where to start. I know I want to publish and I have here and there, but I don't know anything about where to submit anything to. So I've never really ventured out into that. So any advice, I'm always open.
There's a couple of people who do monthly lists of publishing opportunities for the entire month. Some of them focus only on no submission fee / paid markets. And on my blog, in the tip section, there's an article that's called 60 Ways to Leave Your Boredom. And it has one of the ways is to start submitting your writings. And so it mentions a couple of those websites that have monthly updates on where to send your stuff in.
Thank you.
Travel tips.
Thank you.
Yeah, I put some information in the chat about a Facebook group called Call for Submissions. Very, very active, and Edward Vidaure is based in the El Valle here in Texas. He's from LA, so he has a wide, knowledge, expansive knowledge of what's up, and people send him links. He doesn't. I mean, he just accepts the links that people share with new opportunities. Some are, for anthologies on a theme or specific subject matter, or like, they want particularly, they want submissions from folks who identifies LGBTQIA plus, or mothers of color, et cetera, et cetera. So it's a very active group. But also I mean the one rule, I guess, or one thing that's often advised, and I think it's very good advice, if you hear about a journal that you might submit to, read an issue, look through an issue, and see if the material in the content in that journal resonates with yours, because that'll give you a sense of whether your you know, your work would fit in there.
Mhm.
Hard to tell sometimes too, I think, but that is a very good practice. Of course, it's less expensive if they're online journals. But yeah, I agree with it. This stuff is really useful for me to have too, especially in terms of helping Dave. In fact, it occurred to me this week, I'm not talking to him till not talking to him. I'm work reading through his stuff and sending him a note late tomorrow, and we're gonna have a get together and blah blah blah. But it has occurred to me just while reading this the last couple of days that I should tell him about this about Recordando to see if I can get him to come to a Recordando because he'd be a very good energy here, I think. If that's okay, I will for next month.
Yeah, it's very open. It's just that it
I
seems to
know.
have boiled down to some of us folks that are just
Yeah, but I have friends I wouldn't suggest that they
yeah. I mean, again, like you got to figure out if your poems would make good play dates with other poems in specific journals. We don't all make great play dates, in every context and situation.
Mhm.
That's just the reality of how society works. Um, but there's I pulled up a journal because you mentioned something about trying to find something in a journal and how do you find that journal. So I like the color of it, and I thought, well, let me look in here. I don't remember when this existed in my life, maybe 15, 20 years ago. So I guess I'll read this. It's an attempt at a what is that poetic form? I can't even remember the name of it right now. Pantoum. Yeah, it's a lazy pantoum. Okay. There is indeed dust in the land. Still you notice how fun the rush when your toes interpret it as sand. Interpreting it as sand can melt into the soggy seaside slush. Still you notice how fun the rush you feel when first impressions turn out wrong and can melt into the soggy seaside slush as a mistaken judgment is somehow recalled on demand. You feel when first impressions turn out wrong and quick to smile, you recognize the next one could be right. As a mistaken judgment is somehow recalled on demand, things can be better seen when you choose to flip on inner light. Quick to smile, you recognize the next one could be right. When your toes interpreting it as sand, things can be better seen when you choose to flip on inner light. There is indeed dust in the land.
Oh, that's
Wow.
sweet.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I really like that form. It's fun to play with.
I have never written a good pantoum ever. And I have no idea why. It doesn't, I can write sonnets and certain other things, but I can't like pantoums. I don't know why.
Mhm.
That was beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. What I've got is not really poems, it's rough drafts of some things. But like I said, after I went to the jam, I've just been thinking about that, combining with the research I did for that map and for some of the exhibits we have in the museum. So here in New Mexico, like where the dam in Cochiti and Jemez Pueblo are is in the Jemez Mountains. And all this stuff I've been reading has been talking about how the Jemez Mountains were a refuge. Like whenever the Spanish would come in, people would always like go to the Jemez because the Spanish could not quite get there in the same ways that they could in this part of the Rio Grande Valley. So I I love the way people talk about New Mexico, but this is not where I'm from. I'm from this plains. I'm from like Northwest Texas. So I decided to try to figure out how to write about both of those places simultaneous. So one of the research parts of this is there was a leader of the Pueblo Revolt from Cochiti named Antonio Malacate, and he was somebody that the Spanish talk about in their journals as he was so scary. Like they were like to deal with him and to get Cochiti on sort of board was bigger deal than Santa Fe. So the more I read about him, the more I'm like, this guy was powerful. So I wrote these 2 paragraphs, like I said, super rough draft, but um, so it starts, the Hemes are a refuge. They always have been, since the ancient volcanoes stretched out their hands to scatter those first sacred rocks, since they breathed out the ash that turned into the magic of Kasha Katwe, since the ancestors began to walk south, since the days of Antonio Malacate and the Spaniards kneeling before him asking for permission to return, since all the way back then, it is where sunsets outline trees with violet gold light and where the rivers are the cleanest sounds. It is the routine of recovery and the solace of a gray January. From that 1 second, whenever it was, you have been from the Hemes, and the Hemes have given you the quiet you need, the place to run, the space to breathe. Then I don't know the translation, but the next section is the llano estecado is protection of the widest kind. It is loneliness without despair. It is so open, so empty that only those who know how to read stars and follow day shadows find it lovely and safe. It is where mountains go to rest and where they stretch out to sun themselves on the cap rock's red clay. It is where the flutter of chapulines and the silence before tornado are powerful as the winds that never stop. It is a sky so hot it turns white, and winter nights so cold the ice can burn grass. It is where I once stretched out on the hood of my car, watched clouds turn from pink to almost black, and waited for the storm to come. Yeah, this might be me, and this might be you. So, just a little rough draft.
Oh, yummy. What a great
Yeah.
appetizer. You're making me hungry for that. Oh my God. Some of those lines just really open up a lot of energy. And I really would love to know the name of Antonio.
Malacate? Oh, yeah. I'll put
Could
the
you
name of these other leaders in here because
please
I,
do?
I'm sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, just please. Yeah. Do that.
These are all guys who were leaders of the Pueblo Revolt in 1680. And it's been amazing to get to learn about
No,
them.
they didn't teach me about that in school.
They didn't teach me either, brother. Like,
Patricia, what museum do you work at?
the New Mexico History Museum.
Thanks.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Leaders of the 1680 revolt.
Yeah, leaders of the 1680 Pueblo Revolt.
Pueblo revolt.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Thank you. Malacate. Oh my gosh. Fun,
Yeah.
fun. Oh, how exciting. Yes, for you to be doing this research and kind of distilling it for putting on placards on walls in the museum. And yes,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, the map I'm super happy with. Like I said, I was so happy that I can't believe they actually did. Um, I can't believe they actually let it slide because the museum director is actually kind of conservative. But I think they maybe just didn't know what exactly I was doing. It's the way that
Oh
I
my
think of
gosh.
it. I'm trying to see if I have a picture of it, but
You slipped in below the reality belt as
exactly.
Burroughs would have put it.
Yeah, I don't think they knew what I did.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You
All right.
did. You knew.
I knew because
Yeah.
I've read all this stuff. And I was just like, I don't think they know what they're letting me do. Because, like, even putting Genizaros, I'm looking to see if I can find that. Because those are the descendants of native slaves.
Yeah,
So,
you
even
said.
putting Genizaros on a map in the Palace of the Governors, because a lot of times they're like, those aren't real natives, right? Because they're Hispanicized, or putting the Mexican natives, the ones who are down by Cruces, that are going up for recognition. And part of what they have to prove is that they're not too Mexican. So I was like, we're putting them in there, and who cares if they do or do not get the politics of it. Like, we'll just see what happens. And
Ceniceros.
hmm?
It it can't be the word that I learned that means ashtray.
No, it's this.
It has to be somewhat different. My Mexican, my Spanish is I almost said my
Too
Mexican.
Mexican. So that's, yeah, what they mean is not native enough. And so it's like too Mexican are people who like in the 16, 17, 1800s when the United States, mostly in the 1800s when the United States was coming in, they'd go into the schools, the boarding schools, or they'd go into the pueblos and they'd be like, these aren't real natives. They're Spanish speakers. They are, not traditional from here. They migrated in at whatever point. They intermarried, blah, blah, blah. Like there's a BIA officer who comes into Santa Fe Indian School and tells kids who have been going there forever because they're from a Genisaro community, you guys are too Mexican, get out. And so there's like these tribes down south. It's the Pueblo de San Guadalupe, Tortugas, and Chihena Inde that are going up for recognition, and they're all by Cruces, El Paso, and Juarez. And I found the most heartbreaking document where I think it's the San Juan, I think it's San Juan de Guadalupe, that pueblo, where they're trying to get recognition from the United States. And the document they've sent to prove is a manifest from about 1880 to 1910 of all the kids that were taken from their pueblo to the boarding schools. And they're saying, like, hey, you guys thought we were native here. Here's, Tammy Gomez, who's 5, getting, picked up and taken to the boarding school in Albuquerque. And then, this is the trauma, this is all of that, and now you won't give us recognition. So that manifest of those kids' names is crazy to see.
Just a reminder that this is being recorded, so I hope that what's been shared is something you
Oh yeah,
wouldn't be that public. Okay, just
that's fine. They can't take it down now.
this is good good knowledge dropping right here. Thank you.
Yeah.
And I guess the way we learn more, Rita, I guess we all each can, individually follow up with this information that's in the chat. There's no one website to go to. Just got to pull in knowledge from different sources. This is really eye-opening. Good stuff. Thank you. And I love those paragraphs. I really, they may feel rough to you, but I think you're on a really sweet track there.
Thanks. I get really, really anxious about it.
No need.
No hay de qué.
Yeah.
You sound like my tia, my Aunt Irma. That's like one of her favorite sayings.
Oh, really? Mija, no te preocupes con eso. Where the rivers are the cleanest sounds. Oh, love that. Love that. So it's 10:02. I'm happy to hear if anybody else wants to share another piece or have some closing statements to make about mentiras, lies, deceit, the truth we're telling, and the truth that should be told. It's been rich tonight. Thank you to all of you who've been here so far.
I have a quick rough draft.
Oh, great. Take it away, Rita.
It's called Puzzle Piece. The puzzle piece won't fit no matter how much I try. The edges don't mesh with the other pieces. Piece is out of place. It once was able to seamlessly click in its spot. The puzzle is no longer the same. I feel so out of place.
That's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah. Puzzles make good metaphors.
Mm-hmm.
You say it's a work in progress, rough draft? Will there be more to that one?
Well, I just wrote it, so that's why I don't know. Sometimes I just feel like when appointments, and sometimes I feel like maybe there should be more. So I'm just gonna go play that by ear.
Sounds good. Yeah.
I love it. It reminded me, like, I don't know what I was listening to the other day, a song, but they were saying puzzle in Spanish, and it's I always forget it's rompe de cabeza. And so it's like that's one of the things I thought is like, oh yeah, putting body back into it is cool.
Oh, I like that interpretation.
Mm.
Rompecabezas. And I love the word, the translation, no, because it's like head breaker.
Mhm. Oh, yeah, it can drive you crazy when you can't get the pieces to fit. If it's a complicated
Breakhead.
image, breakhead. Um, Interesting. But I just want to comment. I'm feeling a sore throat, and that's kind of strange. And I'm sitting here with these two things, and my nephew has been laughing at me because I'm a little bit of a pack rat, and I saved my positive COVID test. I
Oh,
still have it.
okay.
Why is this?
And I just saw the date on, like, I really just fixated on the date just in the last 20 minutes. So this time 2 years ago, I had COVID
Hmm.
to the
Oh,
day, 2 years
wow.
ago. And yeah, and so our curiosity, my nephew and I, was can you get COVID from a positive COVID test in your vicinity? I know better. Gosh, you guys help me.
Don't put that in your mouth.
Oh no, of course not.
Don't do that.
Yeah, it's going in the trash in a minute. I just thought
Worrying
it was
me.
remarkable that I've been looking at these and I just now noticed the date, like on them half an hour ago, 7/13/22 and 7/28/22. 7/28 was when it was negative. So
Hmm.
precisely this time 2 years ago, I was online actually, because I remember having COVID and doing the virtual the Recordando, which
Right?
back then it might have been just Dando, because we started out as Dando for a year or two, and then that kind of ran its course, and I tacked on the Record to make it Recordando.
You did it for 1 year, I think, and the Facebook page is still called Dando Poetics.
Yes, it is.
And
And I
you're
was I was
go ahead.
ill, but I was online with you guys, and I was coughing a little bit, felt a little bit weak, but I got through it. It cheered me because I feel this is medicine for me. So I
Mhm.
could not deprive myself.
Do you know what cheers me? You're wearing candy canes for earrings tonight. No one's pointed that out, and I feel really the need to because it really cheers me up for some reason.
Yeah, I know it's kind of goofball, but Christmas in July, first of
Oh,
all.
that's yep, yep.
And also, these are candy canes that my brother gave me for a Christmas. Oh, he and his son is now living with me. And my brother's resting in power and peace right now. So in honor of my brother, I've decided I'm going to wear these in July, which is also, my brother passed away July 9th. So it's been a year. My brother's birthday is July 30th. So he would have turned 50, 53, 53, 54 on July 30th coming up. So yeah, so this is in honor of my brother.
Yeah.
Christmas in July,
Well,
courtesy of Mr. Ted Gomez.
it's
Hmm.
wonderful regardless.
Yeah, and
Absolutely.
it's kind of odd to me that when I wear or do quirky things, a lot of times it goes unacknowledged, especially at work when I
Hmm.
might be wearing something a little, not bland. No one goes, "Oh, that's a cool blah blah blah," and I don't know if they're just trying to not. I don't know. I don't know
Hmm.
what they're doing. But do people comment on your dress or your jewelry? Do you find that is that a regional thing where maybe people are more audaciously like, "Oh, wow, that's so cool," blah, blah, blah. In other places, it's like, it's like they don't see anything but your work or your face,
Yeah.
your work.
They comment a lot here, but sometimes I think it's just because it's Santa Fe.
Oh,
Like
what does that
everybody,
mean?
yeah.
Looking at your fashion.
Yeah. Yep. It's that
And
kind of spot.
it's tour season right now, and the big was it Zozobra? Isn't that in August
It's in September. What's
or
happening
September?
next weekend is Spanish Market.
Mm-hmm.
So all the stuff is happening next weekend, and then in a couple of weeks is Indian Market. But yeah, so it's a
It's good.
lot.
Yeah, it's peak time.
A ton. So it's been interesting. I was trying to see if I could put the map onto the thing, but I can't. I found the PDF, but I don't know how to cut and paste into
So
the chat.
Zozobra, for those who don't know, and I don't know enough about it to be the main explainer here. Did I even spell it right? It's like the original, it's like, the Burning Man thing in a
Mhm.
way.
Yeah, you spelled it right. Yeah. Yeah, it happens in September. It's part of the fiestas, and it's where we have a, what do you call it? We have an exhibit opening in August on it. So I actually have been reading a lot about it, but it's where people come to the park, one of the big parks over here, and they build this huge flammable puppet, and all these people put their glooms into boxes around town or onto the puppet themselves. And then like people bring the gloom boxes and they to go to the park that particular night, and they set the whole thing on fire. And it's all your glooms for the year go away, and it
That's
turns
awesome.
into a big old party.
Gloom, like I typed in the chat, gloom
Just
box.
like that, gloom boxes.
I
Yeah.
love that.
They're gloom boxes. Yeah.
Fire
So
ritual, fire ritual.
exactly. So we got that happening same time as fiestas, which is good. Because we're gonna have some craziness this year because the museum took the stupid Diego de Vargas statue back. So
Hmm.
we have to exhibit it.
Hmm.
Controversy after controversy, I guess.
Yep.
Well, thanks for being here to represent what's going
Thank
on
you for
there.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing with me. I really appreciate this. I was not feeling the best today, but then this is what I needed. You guys gave me the energy, the love, the light. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
You want to send it to me in an envelope, Rita? I won't read it and I'll just put it in the gloom box at work.
Oh, you'll have a gloom box, kind of like a suggestion box. Oh, wow. Oh, yeah, this has been really delightful, a lot of fun, and always educational and informative.
Very exceptionally so this week.
So many smart people in the
Thank
room.
you, Tricia.
Thank you. Thanks for
Thank
being
you all.
y'all.
I really
Thank you,
appreciate your
Lorraine.
openness.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
all.
Y'all take care of yourselves, everybody. Don't be getting sicker or sick again, like Jeffrey has been sick. Yeah, eat well, get to sleep, hug yourself and anybody within reach for
Um,
good stuff.
it is in about 7 hours. No, 7 hours. Yeah, the moon will officially be full. It's
Yeah, I was going to
absolutely
say that
beautiful
too.
where I am. So
Mm.
like as soon as I get off here, I'm going out to the terrace and I'm going to lay in the light of the moon
Good.
and
Ooh.
listen to Carlos Santana, who's celebrating his birthday today. Listen to
Moonbathing.
Flower.
Nice.
I'm glad
So,
he's still around. I really am.
Me
oh
too.
yeah.
Santana.
I was
Mm.
thinking about the moon too, because it's been a crazy, I could feel this moon coming a mile away for days
Hmm.
now. I barely, yeah. I was up all the other night and it was the damn moon and it wasn't even full yet. It was the lovely moon, I mean, and it wasn't even full yet. They weren't full yet.
Let me see. So everybody has access to it while we're laying outside in Beautiful Light. Here's the link to the entire album.
Oh, wow.
The one you're gonna listen to?
Yeah, Moonflower. I
Oh,
sent in, so
that's a
Awesome.
ritual of sorts.
I'm a rusty old
Oh,
bucket.
stop it. I clicked the link and it got a loud commercial. It was a loud commercial came on.
Advertising. I'm gonna stop the chat, the recording. Thank you all very much for being here. See you next month.
si Dios
Great, wonderful
quiere.
people. Yeah, si Dios quiere, if only if. Y'all take care. But